Scentland, the land of scent. Hello and welcome, it's Chris back with yet another, well, this is a fragrance review today. It is kind of a trip down memory lane occasion, okay? Because I thought it would be nice to look back and think of the fragrances that my close relatives, family wore, okay? And I really narrowed that down to mother, father, and grandma type of scenario, okay? Mostly because my family, my direct family, isn't too large, okay? I don't have any siblings. I don't have a sister. I don't have a brother, okay? I have cousins and that, but in general, I don't have a large family, okay? So it's fairly easy to list fragrances of my closest family because there's not many people to talk about, okay? And unfortunately, both of my parents are gone. My father died when I was only 6. My mother died like 11 years ago, and my grandma 25 years ago, okay? So they're fairly distant at this stage. This is really probably a point that I want to get across. They're distant, but their fragrances, the fragrances that they have worn, kind of brings them back. These fragrances have the tremendous power to bring back almost the aura of these people. Not only the memories, but the aura of these people that I have cherished, and people that in your past that you have cherished. It brings their memory back. It makes them probably alive again in some shape and form, okay, with some of your senses that you smell these fragrances and it tickles your brain, okay, and really evokes some memories and emotions, obviously, okay. So for that, in order to for me to be strong enough, I will pour myself a quick wine there, as usual, and gotta make sure that it's a nice one. It's an Hungarian again, from the Szexárd wine region, a Kadarka from Heyman. I love this winery. This is a very, very light, nice, fruity, very vivid, joyful, playful red wine. So chin chin, salute. So let's start with grandma, okay? Grandma. My grandma was a very, very classic person, okay? A very beautiful person as well. She was born in 1920, okay? So last year she would have been 100, okay? And she, at the time in Hungary, before the war and during that period of time, but mostly before the war, like the end of the 30s, when she actually just turned 20, in the early 40s, she went into to study how to become an actor, okay, to the academy at the time that was kind of developing and looking after actors and actresses on a continuous basis, even during those difficult times, okay. And she finished that school, Filmművészeti Főiskola, that was how it was called and still called in Hungarian. So basically the school for the art of cinema, okay. That's not the school. It's basically a sort of university, okay. Upper education we're talking about. So she finished that, and she got a role in a movie which never manifested. She could never sort of engage in that because she met my grandpa, and the story went on from there. They got kids and that. And she wore, this very classy person, my grandma, Irene, wore a fragrance throughout her life that I will never forget. And whenever I smell this, I think of her. 4711, 4711, Echt Kölnisch Wasser. This is a fragrance that is, well, an eternal classic anyway, okay? And it's a fresh cologne, Kölnisch Wasser, basically cologne, water from Cologne, okay? It's still around today, unchanged, and she wore that exclusively and only. So whenever I smell this, I immediately think of her. Um, yeah, because it's so fresh, um, so invigorating, and it's a classy, one of the earliest eau de colognes ever made, and she was really sticking to this. And I remember once she told me that you should stick to your signature fragrance at all times. This is something that I never did. Okay, because I have so many fragrances. Okay, but this is definitely my grandma's signature scent, 4711 from. Well, who is doing this, right? Who is this Meurer und Wirz? It's a good question. I think it is. It's made in Germany. This one definitely gotta get the price tag off there, and I think it's Meurer und Wirz. But if not, forgive me for that. Glockengasse. Ja, wunderschön. It's beautiful. 47 Jahre, still around, available anywhere and everywhere. Chin Chin, Viva Grandma. And then comes my beloved mother, obviously. And she wore, she loved Dior, okay? My mom was like born in 1941, and at the age of 20 she married my father, who was 22 years older than her. And he was a doctor, and they traveled the world and worked around the world extensively. They've been working at the Marie Curie Institute, or he's been working at the Marie Curie Institute in Paris. Then they've been working in Manchester for half a year. I don't remember the hospital, but it's still around. I've checked that. They've been working in Baghdad, Iraq. Okay, they've been in Beirut, obviously, the Lebanon, and so it was an extreme journey. And obviously they worked in Hungary as well. So they've seen lots of places and all that. And she on this journey picked up on Dior. Okay, and within the Dior line, it is Miss Dior, Miss Dior. Okay, Miss Dior released in 1947. This wonderful, floral, fresh, oak moss beauty. Okay, this is a very special bottle here that I have, because this is when she was dying on her deathbed. She wasn't really conscious that much anymore, and to ease her pain and ease her illness, basically, I got this very bottle and sprayed it onto some sort of soft tissue and on her hair as well, and kind of reinvigorating her with the smell. And I think she appreciated it. Her beloved Miss Dior. I get to smell it for the very last time in March 2010 when she died. So this is the bottle that I cherish since, and I have this in my fridge. Okay, so fairly emotional. Okay. And Miss Dior, smelling Miss Dior is always that emotional to me, and this was her signature scent. But at the time, I was obviously trying to make her some presents, because she did a great, tremendous job raising me, basically after my father's death, especially alone. And obviously Grandma helped in as well, especially when we moved back from Germany to Hungary. But my mom did a great job, very strong woman, a very strong love that she had toward me. So I was trying to gift her sometimes with some fragrances at the time, early 90s we're talking about. So one of these fragrances is actually only Julio Iglesias, only, okay? I bought this for her because she loved Julio Iglesias. Amico, tu non sai che male ho, è per quello che ti faccio. Extremely cheesy, okay, but one of the best-selling artists of all time, Julio Iglesias, and this fragrance is absolutely brilliant. I love this to bits. Such a beautiful fragrance. This is how it looked also, if you may remember this version. It's beautiful. Julio Iglesias, Only for Women, released in 1989, a fairly heavy aldehyde, almost very floral. I think there's some honey in there, definitely some oak mossy aspects as well. So it's a very heavy, but it's typically 80s sunshine type of scenario. I love this fragrance, and sometimes I just sit and smell it and remember myself, or keep myself vivid of old times, okay, times gone by. So Julio Iglesias. And there was another fragrance that I bought for my mom, an Italian beauty from the house of Trussardi. Trussardi Donna, beautiful. Look at this. This is how a Trussardi fragrance looked at 1982. Okay, and this is a heavy leather fragrance. Okay, sometimes can be weird. This one, as I wear it myself. I mean, the scenario can be weird when I wear that myself, because it's such a. Today you could easily release these as a men's fragrance. Okay, a heavy 80s type of leather fragrance. This is with some florals in there, with some green aspects or herbal aspects, but very, very, very leathery, just like the Uomo version. Okay, so I love this. I bought this again, and I think the year was 92 when I bought it for her. Not this bottle, another one. This one I just bought for myself to re-indulge in this tremendous beauty. Trussardi Donna, okay, from 1982, beautiful, and again today easily can be worn easily by a man as well. If I wear this, very rarely I do actually. It's kind of isn't it a kind of a Norman Bates scenario, wearing my mother's scent? Okay, and then I go around and grab a knife, and a reference to the movie Psycho. If you know, if you think that I've gone mad, okay? Trussardi Donna, and last but not least, so Chin Chin Mama, Broniaczko, and last but not least, my dad. My dad was born in 1919, so when I was born, he was already, what, 53. So I was a very late child, but we had some great memories, obviously not a lot, and I do not remember his this fragrance on him. But I seem to remember that my mom once told me that she got this fragrance for him, and that is Givenchy Gentleman, okay? Givenchy Gentleman, released in 1974, a very, very heavy leather patchouli combination, extremely classy. I wore this when I was in Dubai in 2007, just at the time, and it reminds me of those times in Dubai. It's weird to wear a very heavy fragrance in a very hot climate, but it somehow works as well, okay? And this is a version that boasts still the fairly original version of that Givenchy, because it has been changed. It has nothing to do with the new Givenchy Gentleman line. Okay, this is the classy 1974 version right here. Okay, vintage. So I can only imagine him wearing this. When I smell this, I'm remembered of the times I spent, that beautiful holiday I spent in Dubai. I did a video about that, a storyteller video about that. So Givenchy Gentleman for my dad. So if you summarize these fragrances, then basically you can say, well, you know, these are little time machines, machines of generating emotion, memories, and just, you know, enable you to relive and re-cherish and kind of visualize somehow the people that were wearing these, that were around your loved ones. So that's how it happens with me, and it happens that even, you know, some of them can be worn like Trussardi Donna. Okay, without much further ado, thanks very much for your attention. I'll be back with more very soon. Bye bye.